if the people criticizing you aren't trying to help you at all? What if their words have nothing to do with your mistakes and everything to do with your potential? Most people assume criticism is always a sign that something is wrong. But Friedrich Nietzsche understood a darker possibility. Sometimes criticism is not about truth. Sometimes it is about discomfort. Because the moment you begin growing, improving, or achieving something meaningful, you become a mirror. And not everyone likes what they see reflected back. Think about it. Nobody spends their time attacking someone who has given up. Nobody feels threatened by a person who remains stuck. Nobody loses sleep over someone who never takes risks. The strongest criticism often appears when you begin moving forward, when you start changing your habits, when you become more disciplined.
When you gain confidence, when your life starts heading in a direction others secretly wish theirs was going. At first, this seems irrational. Why would your success bother anyone? The answer lies deep within human psychology. Your growth forces people to compare, and comparison is rarely comfortable. Imagine two friends. Both talk about starting a business. Both dream about financial freedom. Both promise themselves that one day they will take action. Then one of them finally starts. He works late, learns new skills, takes risks, makes mistakes, keeps going. Months later, results begin to appear. Suddenly, something changes. The other friend no longer sees just a friend. He sees a reminder.
A reminder of promises he made to himself and never kept. A reminder of opportunities he ignored. A reminder of courage he never found. Your success becomes evidence that excuses are no longer valid. And for many people, that realization is painful. This is why criticism often appears disguised as concern. The critic rarely says, "Your progress makes me uncomfortable." Instead, they say things like, "You're changing. Don't get your hopes up. Be realistic. You're taking this too seriously. You're lucky." Notice the pattern. The goal is not to help you improve. The goal is to reduce the gap between where you are and where they are. If they can lower your confidence, your ambition becomes less threatening. Nietzsche believed that resentment grows when people feel powerless to achieve what they desire. Instead of transforming themselves, they begin attacking the values or achievements they cannot attain. This is why some people mock discipline,
criticize ambition, or belittle success, not because these things are wrong, but because accepting their value would force them to confront their own inaction. One of the clearest signs of envy disguised as criticism is the obsession with luck. Have you ever noticed how quickly some people dismiss the success of others? You were lucky. You knew the right people. You were in the right place at the right time. Of course, luck exists, but when luck becomes the only explanation, something else is happening. The critic is protecting their ego. Because if your success came from effort, persistence, and courage, then they must face an uncomfortable question. Why didn't they do the same? It is far easier to believe that the world unfairly favored you than to admit they failed to act. But not all criticism comes from envy. This distinction is important. Constructive criticism helps you build. Destructive criticism helps the critic feel better. Constructive criticism focuses on solutions. Destructive criticism focuses on discouragement. Constructive criticism points toward improvement.
Destructive criticism points toward failure. A genuine mentor may tell you that something is wrong, but they also help you understand how to make it better. An envious critic often enjoys pointing out problems while offering no path forward. They don't want growth. They want doubt. And doubt is powerful. Many dreams die not because people fail, but because they begin listening to the wrong voices. A person can spend years building confidence. Then a few careless words from someone they trust create hesitation. That hesitation becomes fear. That fear becomes inaction. And eventually, the dream disappears. This is why protecting your mind is so important. Not every opinion deserves equal access to your attention. Strong people understand this. They do not absorb every judgment thrown in their direction. They evaluate the source. They ask a simple question. Has this person achieved what I am trying to achieve? If the answer is no, why should their fear become my limitation? Interestingly, the most successful people are often the least threatened by the success of others. Confident individuals do not see another person's achievement as an attack. They see it as proof of possibility.
They understand that someone else's victory does not reduce their own potential. But insecure people often see life as a competition for validation. Every success becomes a comparison. Every achievement becomes a threat. Every ambitious person becomes a reminder of what they are not doing. And that is why criticism follows growth. Not because growth is wrong, but because growth exposes things people would rather avoid. The next time someone criticizes you, pause before accepting their judgment. Ask yourself a different question. Is this person trying to help me improve? Or are they trying to make themselves feel comfortable? The answer may change everything. Because sometimes criticism contains wisdom, and you should listen carefully. But sometimes criticism is simply envy wearing a mask. And learning to recognize the difference may be one of the most important skills you ever develop. Nietzsche believed that becoming who you are requires courage. Not only the courage to grow, but the courage to continue growing when others become uncomfortable with your transformation. The truth is simple. People rarely criticize what does not affect them. And sometimes, the strongest sign that you are moving in the right direction is not applause. It is resistance.